Welcome back, Charles. Victory Monday from Turkey Day.
Man, Thanksgiving has been good
Epic.
to us the last couple of years, has
How
it not?
right were we on the game, though? The scores were very close. I believe you were closer than I was on your score. I believe you said 10, 31-10 or 37-10.
Yeah, 37, I believe 30, 37, 10, 35, 10, something like
Yeah,
that.
you were
Yeah,
within a
yeah.
touchdown. Either way.
Yeah, we're getting good at reading this Packers shit.
It's getting better. Getting better.
we're,
Every week.
we're getting much better from that first episode. I was thinking about that too the other day when you were like, "Yeah, dude, our first episode went for 987 or something." I'm like, "Dude, why couldn't they send episode 3?"
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly how it goes, though.
Episode 1 was terrible. It was like
Absolutely.
we were brand new again, dude. I was
Just two,
like,
two
what the fuck
guys
was
literally
happening?
rambling on about the Green Bay Packers and just looking at ESPN and saying, okay, this, yes.
It had, so I was laughing. So, anywho, I, does so the Miami Dolphins lose their 12th straight in
What is it,
weather?
below 30 or something
Below
like that?
40.
Below 40? Hell, they didn't
Below
even get him.
40.
They didn't even give him 30, to be honest with him.
Below 40. Yeah, below 40.
Okay, I don't know if you heard this. Did you hear what I heard about the players? Was it Jalen Ramsey? All these guys come out and said that, yeah, the weather definitely played a factor in this game. It's fucking football, for one. Sorry for my language, but you
Yeah.
guys should be used to this shit by now. Let's be honest. You're professional athletes. It's hard. It's hard to make that
I mean,
excuse.
they brought 3,500 pounds of cold weather gear,
Yeah, and heaters. And heaters.
including like wetsuits and shit, like scuba suits, bro.
That's
Loose and layered. Doesn't anybody know? Loose and layered. What the fuck you gonna be in a wetsuit for?
dudes out there scuba diving in the snow.
Jesus. When you're a spiraling or terrible organization, you find things outside the locker room to blame the negatives on what's happening. And that just seems like it's been the Miami Dolphins MO all season. They were terrible on offense because Tua got hurt, or they didn't do this because of that. It's never, hey, we just played like shit and we weren't prepared. I had a lot of praise for Mike McDaniels in the beginning, but now, this dating back to last year, but seeing what other coaches, not including Kyle Shanahan, have done with when their number ones aren't number one, just it leads me to believe that those organizations are doomed to fail more than they are to succeed.
There was a guy that knocked him too. One of the analysts said that he's absolutely terrible about in-game adjustments as well. Not even
Yeah.
halftime adjustments, totally just in-game adjustments. Like he plays the same game. It's like being a poker player and playing the same style every time. Eventually, dudes are going to read you, they're going to see through that,
Yeah.
and they're going to tear you apart.
It's when the Miami Dolphins work, it's deep balls and screen passes. There was an offense. This reminded me of Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and the Saints when they had Darren Sproles and what was it, Mark Ingram as the
Yeah.
running backs. I believe I played them in Madden. I played with them in Madden, and I would beat people like 135 to 48. There are screenshots on my Facebook if you dig far enough, and you will see those
Go deep
actual.
in the labyrinth, you find it. Yeah.
There's actual photos of those legitimate scores from in game. I can even reach out to shout out Alan Peters, love you, buddy. Used to play Xbox with that dude. ECG for life, baby. Elite or EGC, baby. For life. Where did I go? Elite gaming community. We were a big deal on the West Coast back when I was stationed up in Fairbanks. But anywho, that's what it reminded me of. Eventually, Drew Brees got a Super Bowl, but correct me if I'm wrong, that had a hell of a lot to do with the defense more than it did Drew Brees and his offense.
As well as a great head coach, I believe.
Yeah.
Sean
Look what he's
Payton.
doing for Denver. Shout out Sean Payton.
Yeah.
But I believe that's what we get with Miami, unlike what we're getting here with the Green Bay Packers, who To us, this wasn't a bad weather game. A
No,
bad weather game
this
was
was a
the
fair weather
Detroit
game.
Lions. Yeah,
Yeah.
a bad weather game was the Detroit Lions game at
Oh, the
home, where
pouring
it's
rain and the
the
wind. Yeah.
pouring wind,
Yeah.
the pouring rain, the sideways wind, yada. Those are terrible. What mic do I talk out of? Oh no! But I'm glad it didn't show my hands.
What's funny,
I'll be on a green screen. That would have been terrible. I have to remember this life.
yeah, you're not gonna have hands anymore. Half the
No,
time they
no.
disappear, and they go away, and they come back.
Yeah, but if you take the green screen away, But
Yeah, you got
anyways,
hands.
what were you saying?
There was a guy quoting saying, "You ask the Lions, what's your favorite weather to play in?" And they say none. They're so used to playing 80% of their games indoors because of being the Minnesota Vikings, being in the division, the Detroit Lions, and then they also have games where they play on the road in a dome. They don't get the same. We don't get the same luxury as a Packer fan, but we still love it. We endure it, and we just embrace it.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the fandom.
Statistically, the Chicago Bears have a playoff defense, correct?
I would say the Chicago Bears defense is in the top 15 tier. It's a top tier. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even argue with you if you would have said 10 there. I
Yeah.
know they've got the number one scoring, or like they're the number one red zone defense.
It's just when they
But
get put on the
but
field so many times, they get
yeah,
breakdown.
but you're going to break down eventually. Yeah, absolutely. But the reason I bring this up is because the Lions scored 23 points
Yeah.
against the Bears, and I've said this multiple times on this podcast. I've said it multiple times on our tomorrow's podcast. The Detroit Lions score around 24 points when they play a playoff style defense. If the Detroit Lions if they're going to score 24 points, what do we give them? 2 interceptions and a pick six at one point the last time we played them. Couple fumbles, right? We're going to score 30 points on this Lions defense. I
You
don't think
need
that's a question. Do you think that's a question?
no, they as long as they stay in attack mode. If they get into this luxury where they think that they can just try to run the ball, Detroit's defense is stout enough where they will eventually force them to punt.
On the
Detroit
run,
needs,
correct? Yeah.
yeah, they need to
Yeah.
attack. They got to spread the ball around. Love can't get trigger happy just going to Watson or going to Dobbs might be back. That would be nice. Uh,
Yeah. He
or
hasn't
go to
been so
Kraft.
far this year. That's something. That's
That's
something
another
that you
thing
and I
that's
both we love about Jordan Love is that if you're open, you get the ball.
yeah.
There was a couple of games during the beginning of the year. It was a young team, man, and it's a young mentality, and you could see he was trying to get people the ball to make them happy.
Yeah.
I think at some point in time, either the coaching staff or them, they sat down and went, "Listen, if you want the ball, get open. Like we can't. This is a team. This isn't an individual effort." And again, that's something I love about our coaching staff. Shout out Robert Saleh, 5-1 since becoming a consultant with the Packers. While since being fired, the Jets are 1-5 or one.
They are
So
terrible. The New Jersey Packers strike again.
definitely not the problem there.
At what
I
point
mean,
do you just bench Aaron Rodgers? We're going to bring this up tomorrow, along with the. But
yeah.
tomorrow, if you want to listen to us break down the Chicago Bears and what is going on in Chicago and a trend that I picked up on
Oh, yeah,
with
can't wait for
coaching
that.
and draft picks,
It's fantastic.
I don't believe that. Or let's just get into it. The Green Bay Packers played the Miami Dolphins this past week in Green Bay at home in a beautiful weather game. If you're a Green Bay Packer fan, a terrible game if you're a Miami Dolphins fan for the wind and the cold and the wind chill. The Packers win 30-17, take the game as we both expected. Green Bay did pretty much anything offensively that they wanted to. The defense was stout yet again, absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage like we were expecting them to do. But this offensive line is getting a lot better. And you and I both agree this is absolutely something that you need moving forward, trying to make that playoff push. You have to have your offensive line blocking and playing well.
I agree. I agree. Something else, our offense and special teams not putting our defense in terrible
There
positions
was no mistakes last game.
has allowed our defense to continue to eat.
Yeah.
I believe we have 2 games now, 2 games without an interception,
Yeah.
2 straight games after
I think it
9
was
or 10 straight.
Yeah, it was quite a few in a row. It was at least 3 or 4 in a row.
No, or It was 7-9, bro. I
I'm
swear to
gonna
God, dude.
back out on this over here. Like I
I
didn't
swear
hear
to
that.
God, dude, it was fucking 7-9,
Oh,
dude.
we had like
But anyway,
11 or
yeah,
12.
we're on
Yeah.
the other side of this storm now, bro. We're on
Yeah,
the
it's
other
a
side.
Thanksgiving game. That's everything
What the-
resets after Thanksgiving.
We're still 9-3, and arguably with our best football yet to come. This
I
team
bel
is getting better
Right.
as we're moving forward.
I believe they have like an 83% playoff chance right now. We already knew. I think a lot of people. You're gonna be hard
90.
pressed to find somebody that's gonna be like, yeah, Green Bay's not a playoff team,
What?
and that's
Here,
probably gonna be a
bring this
Lions
up.
fan.
So, according to the New York Times playoff simulator,
Right. Hit me.
Green Bay's chances of making the playoffs is 99%.
Okay, 99. Why? I did
94, 94 for the wild card, 93,
Yep.
94 for the wild card, and a 4% chance to take the division. But this, I've read that, bro, and said out loud. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. Now
We're a
that they
9-3 football team, bro.
think about this. All right, we'll break into it. They've got Detroit coming up on Thursday. It is Monday night right now, Charles.
Yes.
Thursday. You already told me that that defensive team for the Lions is absolutely beaten up, beat
Wrecked.
down.
Right.
And
They've
it's
got
in
almost
shambles.
their entire starting roster -2.
I mean, Green Bay's
On the IR.
has learned to play without Jair, and they're playing well.
We are. Tyreek Hill did not beat us. We gave up 10
Yeah,
fucking points, bro.
I don't even believe he got down the field for anything past 15 yards.
So that's locking up and Jalen Waddle, bro. You had here. We had 5 fucking sacks. You and I talked last week. I didn't think that was going to be possible.
Etienne and Mostert too.
Yeah.
Had to contain it.
Dude. I think Mostert had 15 yards or 35.
Dude, they shut the run game down. It was
straight down.
I believe
Dude.
Achane had a
Minus
few decent
the one
catches,
drive.
but, yeah.
The one drive, Achane went ham. But no, that was something that, I mean, and I got to give it up to Xavier McKinney as well. I really do think Quay Walker is becoming one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL.
I saw Quay Walker last game. This is the game where I can give him 100% props. Like, I saw him get pressure on the quarterback. I saw him run down a running back from behind and tackle him. Something that we saw effort of him getting to the line and blocking the goal. He was plugging gaps. He got to the line of scrimmage. He tackled the guy in the backfield, and he was in there for a sack.
Yeah.
The guy was all over the field, and like you said, you cannot deter this guy's motor. He's a machine out there.
And in Joe Barry's defense, you would end up finding Quay Walker on Ross St. Brown.
Because
and you're
sometimes he was
like,
out of position all the time.
Yeah, you're like, how in the you got a defense out there that allows Quay Walker to have to go guard a wide receiver because of the motion that got put in. How do you not see that?
Charles, it was a lot. You said it like at
Often.
least 4 games last year.
Dude, often. So
Left on
that's
an
something,
island.
bro. That's something I'm like Jeff has done unimaginably well. Is he like? There are times where you see a people on defense and they turn around and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like
That's
someone's
what,
out of
Charles.
position.
What do teams that
oh my
have
God.
linebackers covering players like Travis Kelce and Sam Laporta? What happens to those teams? Do they win a lot? When you got linebackers covering tight ends and wide receivers, no, you don't win those matchups very often.
No.
Maybe TJ Watt does, but he's an anomaly.
In a tight end world, but not on many wide receivers. Hell, even on wide receivers, you just see J.J. Watt running behind him. That's it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, cool. You don't want to get hit by that dude, but you
Right.
can't hit me if he's behind me. So,
Yeah.
So Jordan Love's going to be healthy.
Yeah,
I think that was
I
a
would
big
expect
key.
him to be healthy especially
That
after
was a big
Turkey.
key. We took care of business. We won 2 games in, 5 days?
Yep, and now this will be the third game in 11 days.
Third game in 11 days, but it's an extended, because we had an early Thursday game.
They're going to get a full week.
Oh, no, it was the early Thursday.
They
game.
get
It
a
was the
full
late
7
one.
days,
Yeah.
though, because they played Thursday night. They're going to play again Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah.
So they get 6 days, 6 nights.
So it's a full week. We had our good breakfast. Something you and I have talked. Okay, anywho, back to the playoff picture. 94, 90, 99%. Before we get too far forward, and I love what you said about Quay Walker. So if the Packers beat the Lions and move to 10-3, we're still not in the playoffs. Now I do expect us to clinch a wild card berth
Well, they
somewhere in
won't
the
be
next 2 to 3 weeks.
here's the thing. They won't be in the playoffs at 10-3, but if they go to 10-3 and a couple of those 5-6, 4
That's
and
well,
seven
the
teams
teams on the
lose,
list, the
yeah.
teams right now that are on the outside looking in, the Arizona Cardinals at 6-6. These are both like divisions that are tied, and the
Yeah,
trash is
they're
going
all
to get
teams
thrown
that
out.
have to must win
Yeah, so
basically.
Arizona Cardinals and Los Angeles Rams. And then, of course, you have either the Atlanta Falcons or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All of those teams are at 6-6 right now. They have to win out. There's no more questions. Those teams have to win out.
Yeah, they've got to
And
have 10
Green
wins.
Bay has to lose like their next 4 or 5 games.
I think whoever gets to 9 or 10 wins in the NFC South is going to win that division. I don't know about you, but I think
4 games. Yeah, we got 4 games left.
yeah. So I think one team's going to have to go 3-1, and my bet, God, even after watching Atlanta, it's hard to. Oh man, Kirk Cousins, ooh boy, yeah,
Worst games. Well, it looked like Kirk from Washington.
yeah. New Orleans might be the best.
You
New
shouldn't have
Orleans
left
might be the
that
best
coaching
team.
staff. You shouldn't have left that coaching staff.
I like Tampa if they get healthy to take that division, but
I still even
rough.
I like Tam. I don't like their tight end anymore, but I do.
No,
The fantasy team has fallen apart
it's,
too.
it's hard to say. Yeah,
I won a playoff. I got a playoff berth 2 weeks ago, and I'm just limping the rest of the way. I'm just like, yeah, I don't fuck care. I'm in the playoffs.
it is. Well, a lot of these teams are playing the tougher back end of their schedule, and they're just trying to win.
Dude,
They're not trying to blow teams out anymore. They're just trying to win.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
That's rough.
But so with all of that said, I think the playoff picture is solid. I think there's a very low chance of us hosting a playoff game this year. I think that's the negative side of it, I believe, just as it was last year. But Packer fans travel great. And if we end up playing in Detroit, Detroit's going to have to do something geographically with credit cards because otherwise that Ford Field will be a sea of green. Regardless on how open berthed the Detroit Lions have become. Okay, cool. Bandwagons only go so far. We've been doing this since the fucking early hundreds.
Even if it's 65-35, Green Bay fans are going to be louder. Let's just be honest.
Indubitably.
I give them a 2-to-1 ratio.
We play really well at Ford Field. We do. We play really well at Ford Field.
I think they like playing there because I think they like the field, for one. And I don't think they feel like it's a home field advantage for the Lions. I mean, the Lions have lost so many games there, so many close games there. They even have to feel at some point when they're not dominating a team that they're like, man, is this even an advantage being at home? Because
it came into fruition. It came into fruition with Kansas City, and it's continuing to happen. But I believe that the engine that is the Detroit Lions, is stuttering.
You can slowly see them falling off the tracks because they started the game against the Bears hot.
Correct.
But as the game went on, I believe it was
the
like
second half, they had nothing.
From the end of the second quarter, when Chicago made that drive with Caleb, you could start to see momentum changing, that their defense was starting to wear the Lions' offensive line down. And you got to take the runaway if you're a defensive team. Like Green Bay has to take the runaway from the Lions, make them one-dimensional.
Yes.
Because Jared Goff is not going to be the player that's going to be able to just sit back there and pick Green Bay's defense apart by himself. If everything's working offensively, Detroit is a very good offensive football team, maybe one of the top 5 in the NFL, obviously.
Since 2019, Jared Goff is top 3 in play action touchdown passes. So everything that is the Lions offense is ran through the run game.
Right. And if you let any good quarterback, let's be honest, Jared Goff is not an elite quarterback. He's a good quarterback. If you let any good quarterback sit in the pocket, they're going to pick any defense apart. You give them time. And you can say that for any quarterback in the NFL. Hell, look at Kirk Cousins when he had time. Then look at him when he doesn't have time. Yikes.
I'm trying to find out.
What's that?
Trying to find out if did Quay Walker. I know our rookie wide safety. Yeah, Walker did play, had 12 tackles.
Yeah, Walker was all over the field.
Was all over the field. I was going to say he's going to be a big key. He's had 89 tackles already this season.
Well,
He's gonna touch 120. I think.
I believe that he might have to. He's gonna. What is he? He got 1 year left, and he's gonna get his contract. He's
Yeah,
still on his
yeah,
rookie deal.
yeah, yeah. No, maybe. Yeah, he's got 1 year left
Yeah, 'cause
after this
this
year.
is what, his second year or third year.
Second or third year. I think it's
Got
his third year.
4 years on the rookie deal, and
4
then
years. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So next,
yeah, yeah.
but I believe the start of next season or the end of next season, Quay will have his contract regardless.
I hope so.
There's money on the table. Green Bay is looking really good on the draft capital for next year, so we've got room to sign pit players early.
Absolutely.
With capital going up, I believe that's what our front office will do. Now, going over some of our season totals so far. Thanksgiving, total first downs, we are at 244. Opponents are at 230. Third down conversions, we're at 52 of 136. Our opponents are 50 of 143. Fourth down, we're giving up a little over 50% of those. I'd like to see an improvement on that. Opponents are getting 13 of 22, and we're at 50% for our fourth downs for 5
Yeah,
of 10.
third down and fourth down defense hasn't been their
It
greatest
hasn't.
asset this year on defense. No,
It's not no, correct. And we're not saying it's a weak point, but
no, we're saying
we are definitely saying it needs to get a little bit more focus.
yeah, especially as you get closer into these games, the games that actually start to matter, that make a difference. I mean, you can give up a few first downs if you're up by 15, 18, 20 points.
Yeah,
But it's these tight games as you get down towards the end of the season that are going to matter the most.
absolutely. Our total offensive yards 4,594. That I think that's great.
Man, I did not know that Kirky Cousins is playing his old team this week.
Yeah, yeah. Total offensive yards given up 3,882. We've ran 762 offensive plays. We've gone against 742. We're averaging 6 yards a play on offense. That bodes really well. If we're averaging 6 yards a play on offense, we're going to be
You're
scoring
moving the
touchdowns.
ball. Yeah.
We're moving the ball, and we're giving up. This is the thing that hurts us a little bit, but it's getting better. We're giving up 5.2 total yards. So that's a little hairy. Our rushing yards, we have 1,782 total rushing yards. We've allowed 1,200, so that's pretty decent. We're averaging 4.8 yards a carry this year. That's great, dude. And if we're averaging 4.8 yards a carry, it's closer to 5, but let's just say 4. You hand the ball off 3 times. What does that get you? 12 fucking yards. That statistically, that's boding very well. We're giving up 4.2 yards on 304 rushes. We've played some really good rushing teams this season. Let's be honest. We've played Saquon Barkley. We've played the Lions. Who else have we played?
You just played San Francisco and McCaffrey.
San Francisco and McCaffrey. So the fact that we're well under 1,500 given up and well over 1,500 achieved, I think that's fantastic, especially in Jacob's first year and Jeff's first year. What do you think on that one?
Oh, I agree. I agree. The defense has probably been the biggest surprise this year. Not really a surprise, but maybe so that he's adapted this well. During the season, he's been able to get the players to play his style of defense, and it's been working out fantastic for him. I mean, you're 9-3, and I can count on one hand how many times defense saved him. I mean, look, McKinney alone.
Yeah. So we have 32 sacks so far this year,
Yeah.
which I think is fantastic. We've only given up 15. I like that. That's averaging a little under 2 per game, though. I could say a little over 1 per game, but I want it to sink in that this can be better, right? Giving up almost 2 sacks a game, I think that's too much. But with a young and changing offensive line, to keep that number under 2, I love where our offensive line is at and where it's going. I do believe we're going to be offensive line heavy in this upcoming draft. What do you think?
They're gonna have to go for depth. I can see offensive line, I can see defensive end, maybe another linebacker, and definitely probably another safety.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to be going. We've gone so heavy on defense the last, what is it, 21 first round picks on our defense right
I
now,
don't expect
21
it
or
to change,
26.
but
I don't expect that to change. Touchdowns so far, we have 36. We've given up 28. Field goals, we're 22 of 28, and we're 16 of 18 on the field goals. That's fantastic. Rushing touchdowns, 12. And passing returns defense, we've got 2,300 yards passing return defense. I'm not sure what that means, but turnover ratio is 9. Plus 9,
yeah.
I think. I think that's what that means. So that's pretty fantastic. How are you feeling about? Okay, so then passing yard leader, of course, Jordan Love, 2,518. Josh Jacobs will go over 1,000 yards in this Lions game. So we predicted that this year. That's fantastic. I think we were around 12 to 1,500. I think he might get past 1,500, to be honest with you. Jaden
I hope
Reed, 693 yards.
he's
We're
very
gonna
he's
need.
cool. He has cooled off in the last 2-3 weeks, but we're going to need him against the Lions. It's going to be in a
Yeah.
dome. This is
Offensively, I
where he
think-
thrives.
Yeah, offensively, I think we've cooled down quite a bit, but we're scoring points. I think it's because our offense is opened up. I think singular players that have carried the weight to this point are now enjoying the fruits of their labor, per se. And the interceptions leader, I do believe he's still tied for first with 7. Xavier
Correct.
McKinney.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I believe the number he said he was going for was 7. Teammates gave him 10. I thought he was going to get 30. It was such a wild number. But I don't ever remember
He might
saying
get
that.
to 10. He might get to 10. And teams are going to start, as the season gets later and later in the season, they're not going to throw it towards him as much.
I think with a deep playoff run, he has a chance at 12.
Right. Tip balls are where he excels.
Yeah.
He finds the football no matter where it is, really.
So 50 rushing first downs for Josh Jacobs, which is fantastic. Romeo Dobbs, first down machine. Tucker Kraft has really come into the touchdowns. I think he's at 6, 21 first downs, 3 yards off of being number 2. In total, we have almost 3,000 yards from our wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. Josh Jacobs is 260 passing yards, and he's averaging 9.6 yards and he's got a receiving touchdown this year. So it's fucking awesome. We're averaging 241 passing yards a game, 148 yards a game rushing. Man, that's fantastic. Xavier McKinney has 111 interception yards, 48 being his longest. We have 11 interceptions, 1 pick, 13 forced fumbles, 12 fumble recoveries, 2 blocked kicks. Let's see, total tackles, right? Total tackles, 848 total tackles, 32 sacks, 217 sack yards, 61 tackles for loss. It's just, I'm very excited about where our defense has gone, where it's going. If 32 is our sack number right now, do we think we hit 50 sacks this year?
It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard.
It's 28 in the next 4 games.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're not going to average 7 sacks a game. That would be some kind of crazy record pace.
Especially with Thursday being, we're going to go up against probably the best offensive line.
We don't play the Bears again. So.
Yeah, we do. We play them at the end of the season.
Oh, we got one more game? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
No, you're good. We're going to get 13 sacks that game.
All right. Well, that'll set the record then.
That'll say we should set the record.
That'll set the record then.
Let's shoot for forward thoughts on the Lions game here before we wrap this up, because that was our midseason stat line. It was PowerPoint read to you, but I mean there was some exciting numbers in there. The 32 sacks, almost 900 total tackles, 61 tackles for loss. I think those are all fantastic.
Yeah.
11 interceptions, 13 forced fumbles, and the 12 fumble recoveries. I love that. And the two kick blocks, that's fantastic. I said I was super excited about our defense this year, so I'm really trying to lay the foundation for numbers to look towards next year's Thanksgiving in lieu of injuries or some crazy fucking thing
Well,
happening.
special teams is playing better, less penalties. It's all starting to come together for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I love where this is going. I'm excited. We're talking year 2 of Jordan Love, and we're sitting here again, 9-3, back to back, in lieu of some atrocity happening in sports. We're looking at back to back playoffs with him as a starter. How are
Well,
you feeling about that?
just think about it. 6 weeks ago, when Jordan Love was hurt, and Malik Willis came in, and everybody thought that he was going to be out for the season, or he could potentially not come back and still be injured. We were looking at was fun while it lasted type scenario. Now we're sitting here like they're 9-3. They weathered the storm. It's all in front of them now, and every goal that they've set forward into the season at the beginning of the season is still there and ready for them. Even the division,
Yeah.
it's all up to
Yeah.
them.
Our worst case scenario in my mind was us at 3 losses coming out of the Thanksgiving break going to the Detroit Lions.
Think about it. Okay, let's put our minds on Detroit because that's who we got on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Green
Yeah.
Bay goes into Detroit. They win this game. They literally, Detroit, all the pressure's on Detroit then.
At that point, yes, because Detroit's schedule doesn't get any easier, and neither does Minnesota. Minnesota's schedule moving forward is against only teams above 500.
I hate to say this, but Minnesota has to play Kirk Cousins this week. That's a trap game.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons need that game more than Minnesota needs that game. And that's
and if the Minnesota just played the Titans, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, too, these teams are. Now, I heard Herm Edwards this morning say, when did a win become ugly?
It can always be ugly. Just fucking watch the game. That's when a win can become ugly.
And I agree and I disagree with him, absolutely, and I agree with you. I can find argument, but in lieu of all of that as well, I think you have situations where Michigan's win over Ohio State, ugly loss for Ohio State, right?
Well, it's
but
ugly
let's say
for them, and to us, it doesn't fucking matter.
Right, absolutely. Right. The season was a wash anyways. This is just, oh my fucking God, I can't believe you couldn't beat us.
Christmas came early.
It's just seriously like, nobody was going to bat an eye if you beat us by 50 like you were supposed to, right? Yep. And we missed a couple of kicks. That's fine. We missed some wide open fuck throws.
Your own season then. Yeah, Michigan also threw an interception too, where you should have had a fucking touchdown. So
Tutty, all you had to do was put a little air on it.
Yeah, there's your 6 points. So now come up with some more points that you had that you're going to score on.
You have these teams where it's like Penn State said as well. Or like old Dickie Franklin there had said, there's ways you have to win, in my opinion. And I guess ultimately at the end of the day, if you're holding up the trophy, it doesn't matter. But the way Kansas City's winning, like, that's not how you win. But but they're winning. And we get that. We're talking about the championship. This spells one and done to me. We'll see how the rest of the season goes out. I think this upcoming Thursday game with the Packers and the Lions is going to be a huge window into both teams. As a Packer fan, of course, on a Packer-centric podcast, I'm going to tell you, I think this is going to be a bigger window into the Detroit Lions. I think offensively, they're going to get points. I see us giving up 17 points. If our offense doesn't turn over the ball, if our offense turns over the ball, I believe we'll be more around the 24 points. Offensively, if we don't give up the ball, I like us at 35. If we do give up the ball a couple of times, I like us more around 28. But I don't think offensively the Lions are going to have enough, and I don't think defensively they're going to have enough to stop us if it matters. If this comes down to the last possession game, I believe that bodes well for the Packers. Everything about this game moving forward to me screams a Packers victory. And I'm going to put 28-17 on this one. This first time in a long time I don't have the Packers scoring 30 points. But I do respect the Detroit Lions. They are a good football team.
Well, right. You can't argue the fact that offensively they're going to move the football no matter who they play.
Yes.
Offensively, they're extremely talented. And we both know that they've already beaten Green Bay head-to-head. We watched it firsthand, albeit we both believe that was the game that Green Bay lost through
more.
Their hands.
Yeah. Green Bay lost more than Detroit won. I agree with you.
Yeah, yeah, I can see this being a very like two juggernauts going at it, and
Yeah,
I believe this is going to be like a 24-20 or 24-21 football game.
I like that. I
I
like
think
that.
Green Bay is playing better football right now than the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions at the last 3-4 weeks are just. It just seems like they're like you said. This is the game that they're going to slip up. At
Yeah.
some point, it has to come to a head. And the Green Bay Packers are the Green Bay Packers for a reason, and Detroit is going to end up being Detroit, like they always are.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I love how you said that. I think the Green Bay Packers are playing better football right now. I think, and by better also, I think the Green Bay Packers are playing healthier football right now, and that's a huge key. If this team had Aiden Hutchinson,
Hutchinson, yeah.
yeah, holy cow, that was hard to say. Alonzo or Alonzi, fucking Aloni there, Pepperoni Papa. You know, if they had all the other 13 guys that are leaving my
This,
mind right now, I couldn't even say
you
those
think
other
this
names.
bleeds into the fact that this might be Detroit's downfall for their season? Like they're going to have this fantastic run, fantastic season, but you need those players in the playoffs.
Oh, no,
Your offense might
indubitably.
get you there, but you're going to need a defensive stop, and
What
you're not going to be able to rely on your offense the entire playoff.
you are hearing a lot of people this week
I hear it in
talk.
echoes. I hear it in
Well,
hallways.
yeah,
I hear it.
and how long can they keep this up? Because nobody's been able to ever keep this up. It's been amazing that they've been able to do it so far, but let's be honest, between all the off the field bullshit and all the on the field injuries, it's only a matter of time. And I
Yeah.
do believe that time has come. I believe it's the Green Bay Packers' time moving forward. I mean, I'd be fucking shocked if we win the division. I'm talking wild card.
Oh,
That's why I
right.
said I
Yeah.
believe our playoff
I
berth will be
just,
solidified within the next. If we win this week, the best thing the rest of the teams can do is tie with us. If
well,
we win this week,
the best thing that can come from this is with a Green Bay Packers win is that Detroit will have a loss in the division and they're one loss away. And then it's the pressure's on, like you said.
9-3, and we're third in the NFC North. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy, dude.
They're third in the NFC North, but they're like fourth in the NFC total.
Yeah,
If you went record wise, throw the
yeah,
divisional
yeah,
records right out the
yeah.
window.
No,
You
no,
need
I
to
know.
do this. The NFL needs to figure this shit out. Sure, yeah,
Yeah,
you still make the playoffs,
cool.
but I'm sorry, an 8-9 football team that makes the playoffs doesn't deserve a fucking
Shouldn't
home
be
game
hosting
over
a
a team that won
playoff
12
game.
fucking games. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, and you're gonna hear a lot of people talk about that because I do believe the Green
It's
Bay
going to
Packers
happen
get
this
to
year.
11 or 12
It's
wins.
going to happen this year,
Yep,
guaranteed.
yep.
Whether it be Minnesota or Green Bay, it's going to happen.
They can't get to 12 wins, can they?
Yeah,
Yeah, they can. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. There's 17 games in the season. We're 9 and
yeah.
3.
They can get the
They can get to
they can
14 wins. But I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking 11, 12
Green
wins.
Bay has 5 games left. Yeah.
Yep, I'm thinking 11 or 12 wins is definitely where we sit. If we go how we thought it went, if we split with the good teams and sweep the bad teams. So we've got our splits coming up. We've got our split with Minnesota coming up. We've got our split with the Lions coming up, and we've got our sweep of the Bears coming up. Those all bode very well for us. So we gave our numbers, we gave our predictions. Real quick, I would like to see the betting numbers for.
It is. I looked it up earlier. It's a pick 'em basically. It's 3.5. The Lions. The closer it gets to that game time, it's going to drip down probably to 2.5, to 3.5, go down to 3, maybe 2.5. At home, a 3.5 point favorite means to pick 'em.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I kind of half expected it, but yeah, 3.5. Thursday night football.
What the hell? It says the Lions are currently favored to win by 10.5 points.
No, 3.5 on ESPN. FanDuel's got it at 351.5 for the total though. Chowers.
51 and a half.
That seems high.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems high. Like you said though, 27 to
Well, 28-24 is
27-24.
yeah, that's exactly what we say.
I said
Yeah.
24-21, but yeah, 27-24, even better.
Yeah, I said 28-17 if we've had 24. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
right
yeah.
in that ballpark. I told you we're getting better at this shit.
You're getting better. I didn't even look at it.
I didn't either.
Shout out Trevor Lawrence. Hope you get better. I do believe the guy came out and apologized today. Good on him for apologizing. I don't believe it was completely 100% intentional. The guy was trying to make a play, and he did a really stupid thing by diving headfirst at the defender that's sliding. It comes down to the point where these NFL players need to get taught better how to tackle. I don't know what other excuse there is, but
I just seen a.
he came flying in. He was going for the tackle regardless of
Yeah,
if
no,
he
no.
had slid or not.
Actually, I just seen a video of this dude in his career. He's been a really terrible person. He's had more than a handful of these infractions. I believe he's been fined well over six figures at this point for
right.
it.
And in the NFL, hopefully Goodell does it right, and he looks over this guy's MO and he says, "You know what? This is the last one. You're out for the year.
Well,
you come back next season."
I think what hurt the NFL with the Ray Rice situation was how slow the internet was when that happened.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
It was a handful of years ago. It wasn't. Yeah. It was a few moon cycles ago. Today's internet moves so fast, and I don't just mean your fiber optic, right? Like, a dude gets sick on a plane headed to a baseball game.
Right, everybody's got their phone out on the airplane, and it's viral in about 15 minutes.
An hour and a half before the plane lands, and the spread has already changed 7 points.
Everybody knows.
That's how fast the internet moves nowadays.
We talked about this earlier with the Alabama baseball coach. Remember, he was texting the guy on the plane, and he goes, he moved the line like 4 points, and the guy's like, yeah, bro, these guys aren't playing. We're going to lose. And then the line changed on the game.
So now the reason I bring that up is because today, less than 24 hours after it happened, I was already seeing social media clips of what this dude has done throughout his career. And it's basically a Vontaze Burfict. He's the next Vontaze Burfict.
He's been known as a headhunter then. So he's got this MO that this is what he does.
Yep. And now because I know this and everyone else who's in our sports world knows this, it's definitely getting to other people. Videos have been seen. His punishment is going to come swiftly.
I expected they have to move on this before the next game.
Well, he hit a $255 million quarterback. I mean, you didn't just hit a fucking running back, dude. You took off the Prince's head, bro.
The Prince of Jacksonville.
You're a player, and now you've just fucked with an owner's chess piece. There's no way this is going to go well for him.
No,
I just don't see it.
Especially
if he doesn't play next week.
Because he's still a protocol. Suspended without pay the rest of the season, and he's going to be on like administrative leave until they rule on his behalf, which is going to be into next season probably.
Oh, very much so. I can see this.
I can see him missing 17 total games. Like he'll be out an entire season before field.
Yeah, I can see it being indefinite with the ability to appeal next season, and then that appeal process taking a season. Yep. Okay, we're on the same page. Do we think it should be anything less?
No.
I don't.
The apology was good. It puts you in good graces with Lawrence. And you can't look like a person that has no feelings and emotion and be that guy. If you're that guy and you didn't apologize, good luck getting back in the NFL.
Right. With what I've seen on social media now, I don't think there was a way he could have not apologized.
Oh, no.
You have to say something 12. You have to say something 12 seconds after things occur, and he has done the PR correctly. Right. But that's NFL. They've got good PR people for the most part. Unless you're the Detroit Lions, then you just let Jahmyr Gibbs post all your shit on a white-board all over the internet.
Dude, we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomormo.
You got anything?
This coach is not very happy about
No, how do you not know about that, right? Like,
exactly.
So how did, like, I guess when it's the Detroit Lions, you figure it out.
Get a hold of some crayons. That's what you did. Yeah, your kid is in Jahmyr Gibbs. That guy.
Yep. What are you going to do? For shame.
Yes.
Can't bench him.
No,
you'll definitely lose.
Can't bench him, but you can. Oh man, I don't know what you do. Oh boy.
Is there anything else you want to bring up?
No, I'm saving it for tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow.
I do have one thing. We'll talk a little bit about it tomorrow, but the Ohio State Deers I have drank the last couple of days has been delicious.
Breathing it all in. Social media is just taking this one by storm. I love it.
How does Ryan Day still have a job? Is it because he's 47-1 against
He's
teams
still-
in the Big Ten not named
Well,
Michigan?
He still has a job because there is this slight chance that somehow they still make the playoffs just because of how other teams have performed. They only dropped him down to 7 after that loss.
Yeah, the whole college football.
It doesn't matter.
shit is
Go
terrible.
ahead, make the college football playoff, and then you're going to end up losing to a good team. And
If
you
he,
really don't care.
yeah, if he doesn't win the national championship, he's fired.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Absolutely.
this tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Alrighty, broski. If you got nothing, I ain't got nothing. Packers win another victory Monday. We're 9-3 on the season. I believe we will solidify our playoff bid somewhere in the next 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. We're looking for 2 wins in the next 3 weeks. That's what we're looking for.
Right, that'll definitely do it.
2 wins out of the next 5 gets us into the
Absolutely.
playoffs. So I think we're okay in that boat.
And we're
For all of our
happy to see
listeners
all
out
you
there.
back. Hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving, like Charles and I said. Hopefully you didn't do anything stupid and you're not listening to this from a jail cell.
Or if you are listening from a jail cell, that's pretty cool. Holler!
Holla,
We
holla.
don't want you in there, but
We don't want you in there, but make
I'm
sure
glad you
trade
brought
that
us.
ramen
Yeah,
for some more
yeah.
Spotify,
Pat,
tokens.
pass our information around. Let them know where to find us. We'll get you. We'll get you that slide for the DMs. You know what
Maybe
I'm
we get you a
saying?
sticker for your jail cell.
Hell yeah, for your little toilet bowl. You got a little
Well,
piss
we gotta get
marker.
some we gotta get some new stickers out.
We gotta get some new merch out.
Get
Yeah,
just stickers and maybe we'll get a new hat too. Maybe we'll get
yeah,
a new
yeah,
hat.
yeah. Thank you for everyone who continues to listen to us. Thank you for all of our new listeners, the old listeners, our subscribers, our clicks, our likes, our comments. We can't do any of this without you, and we appreciate the hell out of you. With that, please continue to have safe holidays, and we love you more.
Of the mind, all rest of the blind. Yeah, go now, bad in your life. In school, I see the bag. The beats that bring your eye. That avoiding the light skin style.